JD, what's going on?
Food time, buddy. Look at this.
Hey, we got an
On the
open to do.
suite. Hey, we got dogs. We got beef.
It looks great, but we got to
beef.
We got to
We got
work.
beef.
Let's go. We got to work.
Got fruit.
Okay, I'll have it later. Come on, let's go.
Come on, do it yourself. You're good. Go ahead.
We are on location tonight from the Nuveen Investment Suites here at beautiful Wrigley Field as we get you set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, the first of a 4-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. Fresh from the buffet line, Jim DeShays, I'm Len Casper. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're actually a little bit closer to home plate here on the suite level, and the Cubs would like to play a lot better against the Cincinnati Reds. Been a tough go for them against the Reds this year.
Yeah, Reds limping along a little bit lately. Maybe that will help the Cubs' cause, but lately Cincinnati has really dominated Chicago. 7 out of the 9 meetings this year, 16 out of 19 overall, and the Reds have won their last 9 ball games here at Wrigley Field.
Scott Feldman will take the ball tonight for the Cubs. He has really enjoyed pitching in a ballpark he had never been to prior to wearing the Cub uniform.
Now 5-4 overall is Feldman, but check out those home numbers. 4-1 here at Wrigley with a sparkling 1.64 ERA. So maybe he'll be the medicine that the Cubs need tonight to get over the Cincinnati Reds club.
Saw the Cubs coming off a win yesterday, 4-1 the final over the Pittsburgh Pirates. So try to start a winning streak tonight. It's a pretty sweet life here at Wrigley Field. One of the great suites here at the ballpark, the PNC Club of Chicago. We'll have the Reds and the Cubs coming up next.
Is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. BMO Harris Bank, helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank, NA member FDIC. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back inside Wrigley Field, and the fog has rolled in off Lake Michigan. Pretty cool temperatures. Feels like we're on the San Francisco Bay at the moment as Reds and Cubs will kick off this 4-game series. And once again, we are in the Nuveen Investment Suites right behind home plate. Got a wave. We're on camera. And we'll have some special guests. We're going to eat a lot of food tonight. You got an early start.
I did. I had a beef sandwich, but I've been doing some fruit. I did a little salad. Balanced diet, Len. Everything in moderation is the key.
This level used to be the old press box up until the late 1980s. I was talking with Marty Brenneman, the Hall of Fame radio voice of the Reds. He said this was the best view in baseball from just about where we're sitting. That and the old Tiger Stadium press box was right on top of home plate as well. Well, before the game, the Cubs with a military recognition. First Sergeant Stoney Huffaker from Des Plaines, Illinois, currently the operations non-commissioned officer for the 404th Maneuver Enhanced Brigade stationed here in Chicago. Over 20 years of military service. He's received the Bronze Star, an Army Accommodation with Valor while serving in Afghanistan, and great to have him here. Great to have Scott Feldman here. Showed you his excellent Wrigley Field numbers, and he will face this Reds Southwest starting lineup. They're a patient bunch. Shin-Soo Choo at the top's been hit 17 times already this year. Zach Cozart, the shortstop. Joey Votto leads the league in on-base percentage. Brandon Phillips is at second. Jay Bruce is hot as of late. Xavier Paul is in left. Jack Hanahan gets the nod for the struggling Todd Frazier at third. The catcher's Ryan Hannigan, and he'll catch for pitcher Homer Bailey.
Cubs defensively this evening feature Soriano de Jesus and Shearholz left to right. Valbuena, Castro, Barney, Rizzo third to first. And Deoner Navarro making his second consecutive start behind the plate. For our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher, it is Scott Feldman. He has the 5-4 record, .284 ERA. Really been rolling along nicely of late. 5-1 over his last 8 starts. The club is 6-2 in those 8 ball games. Really the only blemish in that run was his start against these Reds over in Cincinnati. So he takes the bump tonight with a little revenge in his heart against the Cincinnati ball club.
Let's get the umpires for you. Dan Isonia is behind the plate. John Tumpain at first. Mark Carlson at second. And Brian Knight is at third. This is not necessarily the fog bowl just yet, but I would say in the last 5 minutes it's gotten even foggier.
Yeah, it was heavy early, and then it peeled back a little bit, and it looked like it was going to clear up. Now it's rolled in. This is probably as heavy as it's been all day. Could have another homer in the Glowman moment.
But here's Shin-Soo Choo, leads all major league leadoff hitters with 10 home runs and 26 extra base hits, and he trails only his teammate Joey Votto in on base percentage. Well, we'll see how the visibility here is right off the bat.
What a challenge for outfielders, infielders on pop-ups and fly balls.
How about broadcasters? We're underway. One ball, no strikes.
There's a ball hit in the general direction of somebody. I don't think right now it's much of a problem for the hitter.
That is a strike. A cut on the fastball from Scott Feldman.
Been a real go-to pitch for him, along with his curveball. Fastball will average around 90 miles an hour. Cutter at about 88. Likes to work it in on the hands of the left-handed hitters, and he'll backdoor curveball. Has a split finger pitch as well. Doesn't use that very often.
Oh, that hit Choo. We mentioned he has been a magnet leading the majors. That's the 18th time he's been plunked.
Cut fastball, and Choo just not able to get out of the way. He got a little bit of an elbow pad on, but I don't think it helped him there. That looked like it was up on top on the forearm.
So an early base runner, Zach Cozart, the shortstop, will dig in. Again, 18 times he's been hit. That's more than almost half the major leagues. Alone, he would rank 18th.
He'd be the 18th team.
Yes, among team rankings. Whoop, that one up and in on Cozart. Well, the air is very heavy right now. Tell that the game notes are a little damp. Is it tougher to grip a ball on a night like this or not?
Possibly. Saw Scott when he took the mound, liberally applying the rosin to his left arm. Maybe grip was a little bit of an issue for him down in the bullpen.
It's only 61 degrees, a north wind at the moment. It's 6 miles an hour. The Reds come in having won a franchise record 9 straight in this ballpark. Three-game sweeps. Cubs looking for a little revenge.
Chu has stolen 5 bases. He's been caught a couple of times. The Reds do not run much at all. They have so much power in their lineup. I think Dusty Baker's less inclined than some to take chances on the bases. Let's just let the boys swing.
Pretty good lead by Chu, and he does take off, and Cozart fouls.
Hit and run play there. You can see Cozart making an adjustment to pull his hands in to try to steer that ball through the right side. Best he could do was foul it off, but you'll see here the adjustment he tries to make. He's trying to shoot that ball into that vacated hole with Barney running over to cover second base. Just 17 steals for the Reds as a team. They've been caught 12 times. So
you're telling me Chu has been hit more often than the Reds have been successful in stealing bases. He goes again. Bounced foul.
So if you were on a game show and the question is what's higher, Chu hit by pitches or Red steals, you would correctly answer Chu hit by pitch.
He saw the wrong forecast. Basketball jersey on. Chu not running on this one, too. And an infield pop-up will be handled and dropped. They'll get an out, though. Valbuena to Barney to get Chu. No error, as they did get an out. I think he saw it. He just dropped it as he got up onto that backside of the mound.
Well, I guarantee the conversation has taken place in both dugouts. Anything in the air, all hands on deck, and you see all the Cubs converging on this pop-up. Ultimately, everybody yields to Valbuena. Maybe a little unsettling climbing up the mound. Not able to secure it, but doesn't panic and gets Chu at second base. No harm done.
Brings up Joey Votto.
Check that. We're going to find out how good a hitter Votto really is.
Outside for ball one on a curve.
Now, back in the day, they used to talk about pitchers throwing puff balls, where they get a handful of rosin, and then as they deliver the pitch, the ball would come out of this white cloud. Kind of what's going on here with this fog.
One and one. The Reds are a patient bunch. 240 walks coming in. Only the A's and Red Sox among all major league teams have more. Snap toss to first. Cozart back. It's been a good play for Wellington Castile here the last week. Navarro getting into the act. See, Reds and Braves, the only two current National League teams with at least 200 walks.
Chu and Votto have combined for 53 of those 240 that the Reds have drawn.
Interesting, we just had a shot of Dusty. There was a quote the other day talking about Votto. Dusty said it's called hitting, not walking, and he's taken a little heat for it, but he hit on something interesting. Here's a 3-1 to Votto, and that's bounced foul. Now, he's given a lot of opportunities to the guy behind him, Brandon Phillips, who's knocked in 46 runs. Jay Bruce has 43 RBIs. You know, Votto has said he's not going to change his game. He is who he is. And he's going to take a ton of walks. He's going to hit for average, and he's going to be one of the elite in baseball. But I'll pose this question after the pitch as Cozart runs, and they'll stay out of the double play as Barney will get the out. Are there times, in your opinion, and I think it depends on your lineup, where maybe you are a bit too patient? Understanding how much power Joey Votto has, and maybe just being a slightly more aggressive in run-producing situations.
Right, and I suspect he will become a little bit more aggressive. I think a lot of what Joey had to say was just push back because he was taking so much heat for all the walks he was drawing, and people were second-guessing his approach. And so when he came out and said, look, you know, I get paid to be the best player I can be, and this is how I be the best player, by working walks, hitting for a high average.
And I agree with him.
Right, and I do too. But I think he's so gifted a hitter. He will find situations where it makes sense to him to be more aggressive. I think, you know, when you're having that level of success and people are second guessing you, you can understand him going, are you kidding me, people?
Yeah, he's doing damage when he makes contact. Votto, even with that out, hitting .324 and slugging .508. The 1-0 to Phillips is a strike. Phillips recently missed 4 games with a bruised left forearm, 2 for 12 since returning to the lineup. And he has been deadly in this spot. So Feldman needs to make a pitch here to get out of this inning with Cozart at second. That one floated out into right for a base hit. Cozart coming around, and he will score. Phillips didn't hit it very hard, but that little soft liner will get the job done. It's 1-0 Cincinnati. That's her first hit.
A little late on that fastball. He missed a few games after being hit by a pitch. Lost feeling in his hand, so his timing has not been there in recent days. Was able to muscle this one into right. Having Cozart on the move during Votto's at bat pays off as the Reds draw first blood here. First inning problems have not been an issue for Feldman.
Pitch to Jay Bruce. He has a called strike. Well, you've been coming to Wrigley for a long time. Longer than I have. I don't remember that, what you're looking at right now.
No, I've never seen this.
Not to this extent.
It's creeping in on little cat feet. Carl Sandburg.
Very nice.
I always wondered why the poet wrote this thing about fog in Chicago. Well, there you go.
Dropping a Sandberg reference, and it's not Ryan. One and one the count.
It's like a snow squall.
Bruce getting the sign from former Cub and Cub coach Chris Spire down at third. He's a bench coach, but he's been filling in at third. Mark Barry undergoing cancer treatment and has been away from the team. That's high. It's 3-1.
Tell you what, boy, you hit one in the air today, you better run hard. There's extra bases to be had if lazy pop-ups are dropped because of this fog, and it would be embarrassing for a hitter to be standing on first base when he could easily have had second.
Well, there is that fly ball. Soriano has a beat on it. If he caught it, I wouldn't know. That's the other thing. You'd be a good actor. Just act like you caught it, even if the ball's sitting there in the outfield. The Reds get one. The Cubs are coming up. We'll see what the Cubs can do against right-hander Homer Bailey. Their Southwest starting lineup. DeJesus, Valbuena, Rizzo. So you've got three lefties to start it. Soriano's been hot here lately. Nate Scherholtz in right. Deanna Navarro, the former Red, gets his second consecutive start because he keeps reaching base. Starlin Castro and Darwin Barney go 7 and 8. And the pitcher Feldman hitting 9.
Reds defensively. Paul, Chu, Bruce, left, center, right. Hanahan gets a start at third tonight. Cozart and Phillips up the middle. Phillips outstanding, as you know. Joey Votto at first base. He's made 6 errors this year. Ryan Hanigan very steady behind home plate. Our Lexus starting pitcher for the Reds is Homer Bailey. He's 3-4, 3.84 ERA through 12 starts. You see he's averaging a strikeout per inning pitched. Hard thrower. 4-pitch guy, fastball, slider, curve, and change, and he can light up that radar gun in the mid-90s.
He's won his last 5 consecutive decisions against the Cubs. And starts DeJesus with a strike. On the ground to Votto, he'll backhand Bailey. He'll trip over the bag, but he found it. Last time DeJesus was facing the Reds, Johnny Cueto was throwing over his head. Created some controversy in Cincinnati, but he should not have any funny business this week because Cueto is on the DL.
Tony Cingrani, who pitched so well for them earlier when Cueto was hurt, will be called up to make the start here tomorrow in Cueto's place.
Here's Valbuena. Strike one. Cubs have gotten really good production out of third base. Cody Ransom yesterday with the game-winning 3-run homer. And a 4-1 victory over the Pirates. Valbuena comes in with a .360 on base percentage.
Yeah, really like his bat, his approach up here near the top of the batting order. I think this maybe the best lineup that the Cubs run out there. Valbuena in the 2-hole against a right-handed pitcher.
Foul out of play. Homer Bailey's from LaGrange, Texas. Given name is David, but they call him Homer in honor of his great-grandfather. Fly to left, caught by Paul. Did you see it?
No, I could see Paul. And I saw him go through the actions of catching a ball, so I assumed he'd made the play. But you're right. Every outfielder should go out there with the ball in their back pocket. Now, we would have caught him. Shake his head. He had to battle it.
Now Anthony Rizzo, he's reached base in 13 consecutive games. Foul ground near the bullpen.
All the guys in the bullpen scattered because they had no clue where it was.
We're just 10 days into June.
Yeah, and you know the thing you have to remember about Anthony Rizzo, he's such a young guy, still a young hitter at the major league level. There's going to be fits and starts for any player, but a younger guy, it's going to take a while to find that consistency. He'd gone through that little bit of a slump, then he got hot, and I think there was a lot of people were thinking, okay, here he goes, he's on his way, he's going to hit 40 bombs and drive in 110, and be easy. He'll make the All-Star team, and off we go. Well, it doesn't work out that way for everybody. Very few guys doesn't work out that way.
Third ball missed, and Rizzo's on. The Cubs are taking their walks.
Maybe the best example of that young player who's been up and down and just now figuring out is Dominic Brown over in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Seems to have solved things pretty well. It's a home run every night here, it seems.
It's the 26th walk the Cubs have taken over their last 7 games, including tonight. Well, if the ball's going to carry well tonight, but they lead all major league teams tied with the Rockies with 43 home runs in their home ballpark.
If the umpires confer at the end of this half inning, I mean, umpires probably don't have a lot of experience with this either. It starts to rain real hard, they know enough to roll the tarp out and shut it down. I don't know what the protocol is for fog.
It gets right through the legs of the catcher Hannigan and rolls up along the sidewall in front of the Cubs dugout. I think the tricky part of it is starting pitchers warmed up in the game. If you have a delay, how long will it last? I don't think we've seen anybody yet in uniform have any issues.
See, the outfielders have reacted to a couple of balls. They really had to battle them.
Well, it's the same for both teams. Just adds another dimension to the difficulty of playing this big league game. 1-1 to Soriano, swing and a miss.
Right. Yeah, I guess the big concern would be if there was some sense that somebody could get hurt, but I don't think that's a real issue. I do have a vague memory of an anecdote about a game. I don't know if it was a big league game or a minor league game where fog was an issue, and they went out and they hit fungos to the outfielders and asked them, well, can you see the ball or not? And that was how they determined whether they should keep playing or not.
Runner at second, 2 outs. Soriano just got a piece of it. Reds were faced with this scenario in the top of the inning, and Brandon Phillips came through with an RBI single to right.
Reds just lost 2 out of 3 in their own ballpark to St. Louis. Extra inning loss last night.
They gave up 7 in the 10th to lose that game. Soriano chased a slider. He strikes out, and the inning comes to an end. Seems like the fog now starting to push through a little bit. 1-0 Reds after 1. Plans. Tickets are available throughout the season, including for the remaining 3 games this week against the Reds. To purchase your tickets, visit Cubs.com. Well, earlier today it was sunny out at the ballpark. Laura Ricketts and my partner.
Yeah,
with some CPR training. Is that you in the background?
That's me in the orange.
Nice shirt.
Yeah, you got pretty good technique, don't I? Yeah, this was a fun event, and obviously a very worthwhile event. The Illinois Heart Rescue Project had a group of docs and nurses and trainers out here today instructing Cub front office personnel and CPR techniques and the value of it. Takes 15 minutes to learn, and obviously well worth it. You could save a life.
No question. You'd be wondering where are these guys? We're in the Nuveen Investment Suites tonight as Xavier Paul wraps one into center, and you see things clearing up here a little bit. Fog rolled in, the fog's rolling out.
Anyway, IllinoisHeartRescue.com would be the website to visit, learn all about it.
Here's Jack Hanahan. He gets the start at third for Todd Frazier. Hanahan getting his 10th start of the year, his 8th at third base. He actually got a start last week at second, the first of his career with Brandon Phillips out. Feldman has had the upper hand in this matchup.
Saw the Reds try to play a little hit and run in the first inning with Chu on first, Cozart at the plate, and we talked about their lack of steals. The not a real base stealing team, but you may see them play a little more hit and run here tonight. Feldman, a guy who's usually around the plate, not a big strikeout guy, so if you're Dusty Baker, you're thinking your guys can make contact.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And because he is a big right-hander, you also think if you've got a guy at first base who's not a real speedster but runs pretty well, even if the hit and run is busted, you got a chance at getting that base. Base stealers are 13 out of 14 with Scott on the mound this year.
Inside, according to Dan Isonia, 2-2. Reds losing 2 of 3 against the Cardinals, as JD mentioned, so they're 4 games back. That ties a season high in terms of games out of first. They're tied with the Pirates, who are off tonight. Cardinals off as well. Runner goes. Strike 3 called. Out at second. 2 gone. Strike him out, throw him out, double play.
And this is a fastball right over the heart of the plate. Hanahan does not pull the trigger for whatever reason. And Xavier Paul is fairly easy pickings for Leonard Navarro.
Ball 1 on Ryan Hanigan. Only 2 home runs, but one of them was the big blast off Feldman back on May 24th. The Reds won that game 7-4. It's a strike.
Had a breaking ball hover over the inside part of the plate on him, and Hanigan jumped all over it. Feldman very upset with himself the next day, questioning his pitch selection. Felt like he should have either buried that breaking ball down in the dirt or thrown a fastball away. It happens.
Comeback sinker for a strike. Two and two. The pitcher Bailey is on deck. Two balls, two strikes. Reds got a run. Brandon Phillips with an RBI single in the first. Tries to put him away in the 3-2. And he lines out to Anthony Rizzo to end the inning. Leadoff single, no runs. Midway in the second, 1-0 for the visitors.
That is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Cubs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details.
Well, we did have fog here about a year ago, May 7th, 2012. The Atlanta Braves were here, but again, I do not remember that night being, the fog being quite as thick as it is tonight. I think we're into the pea soup area.
I was going to say, pea soup is.
It's gotten a lot better here the last 10 minutes or so. So Scherholtz, Navarro, and Castro against Homer Bailey.
You know who should be pitching tonight? Josh Fogg.
Josh Fogg. It would be perfect. One and one on Nate. Hitting .379 against the Reds this season.
Both Jonathan Broxton and Aroldis Chapman have worked in each of the last 2 days for the Reds. Extra inning game yesterday, as we mentioned. Not sure about their availability here this evening. So Dusty Baker hoping to get a bunch of innings out of his big right-hander, Homer Bailey. Pretty easy 95 he features. And he's really learned how to pitch. First came into the league more of a thrower. Didn't command his pitches very well. Now he really knows how to set up hitters. You know, he's a real hard thrower. There are games where he'll really lean heavily on his breaking stuff.
Inside for a ball to fill it up at 3-2. The red hot Deanna Navarro on deck. Let's play Joey Votto. He will feed Bailey for the second time tonight. Former Red Navarro, he's reached base in 15 of his last 22 plate appearances, and 3 of those were home runs in one game against the White Sox.
Wellington Castillo scuffling a little bit, so he gets a breather, chance to sort some things out, ride the hot hand a little bit. That's the philosophy of Dale Swaim. And when you look at the splits on Bailey left right too, it makes sense to have an extra left-handed bat in there. Somebody just put some crackers in the pea soup.
Yeah,
get a little murkier.
We just had a few people in the upper deck with hair dryers or something. Just turn it on high and push it
blow it out,
back toward the lake. Tap foul up along first.
There you go.
Part of the renovations that nobody talked about. The Wrigley Field Lighthouse. One and two.
Yeah, if you see a big bow of a ship start to come over the right center field, let me know. Run for cover.
And Navarro couldn't get the splitter, and he strikes out. No, to hit the dirt, it did. So Hannigan tried to sell it. Navarro stays alive.
Just got a piece. That split finger pitch tumbling. Boy, really hard to tell. See it hit the bat? I couldn't tell.
Yes, I did. So we'll do it again. Breaks his bat, and it'll be Votto, and that is fair to take this one unassisted. And 2 outs in the inning. I can tell you that is not the 3 home run game bat, because he did retire it after that great performance. Smart move. Keep that baby intact.
Yeah, it's tough for a hitter because when you hit 3 home runs with a bat, a lot of guys are like going to keep using that bat. There's a lot of magic in that bat. At the same time, if you shatter it, there goes your souvenir.
Castro with 2 outs. And he fouls off. Very sad day today in the Cubs family. And the Peoria Chiefs as well, as Pete Vanaken has passed away at age 87 years old. He was known as Mr. Baseball in Peoria. He was Harry Carey's best friend. He delivered the eulogy at Harry's funeral and was a fixture here at Wrigley Field for many years, was a great friend of the Cubs, and he will be missed. His granddaughter Lauren works for the Cubs, and we want to send out our sympathies to the entire Vanaken family and everyone who knew Pete. He knew everyone. Graduated from Spalding Institute in 1943. Got a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Bradley University in 1949. And served in the United States Navy in the mid-1940s. Pete Vanaken. One and one on Castro. Here's Bailey's pitch. It's a strike. Foul tip. Strike 3 as we remember Pete Vanaken. by. Jim Bodman from Vienna Beef with some presents. Jim, the chairman and CEO of Vienna Beef and a great friend of the Cubs. And thanks for stopping by with dinner.
I think you're more excited about the dinner than you are about me. But I'll
Not
take
true.
that. Thank you.
Not true. Great to see you, Jim.
Oh, it's lovely to be here with both of you. What a beautiful view.
It is, and we can kind of see the field tonight with the fog rolling in. It's been an interesting start to this game. So tell us what you brought us, Jim.
Brought you a hot dog. 3, actually.
Okay.
With all of the fixings, so it would be Chicago style. And a couple of Italian beef sandwiches with all of the delicious condiments that make them such a wonderful meal.
Yeah. We'll keep this up. I'm going to be going 3 bills here pretty soon.
That'd be good. This game is mindful of the Eagles-Bears game.
Yes, that's right.
Were you speaking about that before?
What year was it? 1988,
maybe?
Sounds about right.
88. I think they called it the fog ball.
It's a 1-1 to Homer Bailey. That's line foul off of first. So the Chicago-style hot dog. The great thing about it, Jim, is that Northsiders and Southsiders can both agree on it, right?
One of the few things. There aren't too many others. Westsiders as well.
Right. Breaking ball is rolled up the middle. Diving stop Castro. He will not have a play, however, and that's a hit for Homer Bailey.
Reds have had the leadoff man reach in all 3 innings in this ball game now, despite one heck of an effort by Starlin Castro. Pretty slick, just not enough time to get Bailey.
It was a terrific play. So, Jim, you go other places, you hear some people talk about a Chicago-style hot dog, but this is the authentic, the real thing. So what separates this hot dog from all the rest?
You know, hot dogs are localized. You go to New York, they have sauerkraut and a form of mustard. If you go to Cincinnati, they very often will put chili on it.
It's popped up, shallow left. Castro waving off Soriano. He makes the play.
We think that the history of this goes back to the Depression in the 1930s, and it was a inexpensive way for families to feed their children, to get them some vegetables and get them a beef hot dog and a nice steamed bun. And it's the combination of colors and flavors that really makes this something that's special.
Well,
I've never had one of these.
I think my partner's going to dig
I've never had one.
I think JD's going to eat
all
three of them.
No.
There's something about this that isn't fair.
We have napkins too.
But I'm more than willing to dive in.
Well, I will be during the break. Believe me.
How can you announce a game and eat a hot dog simultaneously?
You can, but
you watch.
That's why we have 2 of us. He can eat, I'll talk, and then
it's about to happen.
Wonderful. You look like this, Jim. You just stick the hot dog in your mouth.
Yeah,
nobody cares. That's really good.
Good. I'm glad. I assume you wouldn't tell me if you didn't like it.
So it is anticipated.
It might make good television.
Be a lot of fun, though.
Your hot dog is brutal.
Missed.
Really good.
So the Cubs hope to pull in, close to 3 million fans this year once again, and anticipated that about 900,000 hot dogs will be consumed at Wrigley Field, and other products, the Italian beef, the sausage, a Vienna cheeseburger as well, if that tickles your fancy. That's a base hit for Kozar.
Most of these things are available on our website, and people, oddly enough, Father's Day is a wonderful time for us to sell things on our website. Have a lot of fun with it. I cannot imagine describing to my grandparents what a website was. It now represents a portion of our revenues, not a lot, but some. How the world has changed.
Yes, it has.
And yet this place is the same.
Well, you've been a great partner to the Cubs and will continue to be, and we appreciate you stopping by tonight, and we're going to definitely dig in.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, and we will bring you all you want whenever you want to.
That sounds great. Jim
Thank
Bodden.
you, sir. Thanks, Len.
Vienna.
Wonderful to see you.
Thanks for stopping by,
JD,
Jim.
thank you. Pleasure to see both of you. Thank you so much.
Joey Votto with 2 on and only 1 out. Reds already leading 1-0.
Still very early in this ball game, but based on what we've seen so far from Homer Bailey, looks like he could be a tough nut to crack here tonight. So this is a very, very meaningful confrontation for Scott Feldman.
And the 0-1. Downstairs. Comes pitch number 48 of the night. It's a cutter inside.
The other part of the equation we didn't really get into when we talked about Votto last time and his patience, how he's drawn criticism from some circles for being too patient. But when you establish that you're as disciplined as he is, sooner or later there are going to be situations where you get pitches to hit just because of that, because pitchers know you're not going to chase outside of the zone. This may be an example right here. This is a situation where Feldman's had a lot of success with the cut fastball. 3-1 counts, left-handed hitter. Guy's trying to jump him with a fastball, and just that little late movement in gets him off the barrel.
The 3-1 is hammered into right. That was a cutter. Didn't get it in far enough, and they are loaded up. Boy, Joey Votto's got a laser quick bat.
Has not hit an infield pop-up yet this year.
So he gets a bat head out. Ooh.
He's got a quick bat even in slow motion. Just drops the hands down into the slot and then whips the barrel through.
So Brandon Phillips has come up in this spot a lot this year, hasn't he? A lot of opportunities, and he has certainly come through. He showed you his gaudy batting average with runners in scoring position, and it only went up with the first inning single. Was it 424 coming in?
Leading the league in RBIs for a good while.
Sometimes you have to wait until the game ends to go back and find out what the big moment was for a starting pitcher. We can at least theorize that this may be that moment for Feldman tonight. Part of the order, bases loaded, trailing 1-0, even though we're in the third. This is a big spot for him.
And the real key is just avoid the big crooked number. Man, if he could get out of this without them scoring, that would be great. To give up a run here, that would be okay.
Deep left, and a grand slam for Brandon Phillips, the 5th of his career.
And there is that big crooked number. Brandon Phillips, who I believe has had more at-bats with men on base than anybody in the league, delivers the big blow.
Well, it does look like this is the big moment for Feldman. Unfortunately, not the way he wanted it to be big. A Ford home run replay.
Not unlike the curveball that Hannigan hit off of him in Cincinnati. Different situation here, of course. He was really upset with himself with that Hannigan pitch because he had the pitcher on deck and base open. Did not have that luxury here.
Sharply hit ground ball to Barney. This will be the second out. Reds with 5 runs, all knocked in by their cleanup man, Brandon Phillips.
So many times with that breaking ball, you want to snap off a nasty one, and you muscle up a little bit, try to overthrow it, and you just don't get good rotation, and it hangs.
Feldman's 2-0. Jam shot bouncer. Rizzo will flip, and the inning is over. Brandon Phillips with a grand slam, and the Reds now have a 5-0 lead in the 3rd inning.
Send us your comments on today's game through Twitter using hashtag Cubs Talk, and we'll read one back later in the game. And as you contemplate that, check that out as you watch the fog roll in and out of Wrigley Field. And it's in there pretty thick right now.
Well, the Cubs trail 5-0.
Maybe we'll have fog-themed tweets tonight.
Yeah, I have a feeling we will. And as we get underway here in the bottom of the 3rd, want to send out a big happy 17th birthday to Hannah Hellman. It's from your dad, Tom. We call him Otis. No, we call him Mr. Hellman. Sorry. Got to get that right. Here's the 0-1 from Bailey. Swung on and missed.
17, that sounds like a new car to me. Seems like
that's appropriate.
Otis would step up. Yeah. Arnie, very good numbers off of Homer Bailey.
Ground ball to Phillips. Got a candy hop.
Darwin with 1 hit in the game yesterday, but robbed a couple of different times. Sparkling defensive plays by the Pirates. Could have had a 2-3 hit game easily. Do not adjust your sets.
in tight on Feldman. Happy 11th birthday, Ruthie Caro, here at the ballpark tonight.
People of a certain age might remember the TV being snowy. I remember our TV as a kid. It's kind of snowy. Screen.
Get the rabbit ears out. Try to get a better signal. Feldman lines to center, and Chu has no idea where it is. Chu did not move for a good 2 seconds after Feldman made contact.
Cozart, the shortstop, was pointing it out to him, trying to give Chu a heads up as to where this ball was headed. But yeah, he did not see it off the bat, and that's got to be a very odd feeling for an outfielder. And at the end of the day, he does find it and is able to cut it off to prevent extra bases. His good work with the bat continues.
Yeah, this wasn't planned for us to be in the Nuveen Investment Suites tonight. But about 5 minutes before the game, the Cubs said, you know, it's really foggy tonight, so we want to get you closer to the field.
Good of them to accommodate us like that.
Well, this is a great spot. Called strike. 0-2. So yeah, so this is the view we have right here. Prices on this level start at less than $200 per person. Includes food and drink. Yes, we have been taking advantage of that. Includes parking. So PNC Club of Chicago in our open. Our season ticket there includes top shelf food, beer, wine, cocktails, as well as parking. You can mingle with other VIP clients. Former Cubs and celebrity stretch singers. Foul tip into the glove, strike 3. It's out number 2. Right there's the PNC Club. Down the left field line here at Wrigley.
Oh man, does that look good? As if I haven't had enough to eat tonight. The other advantage of this is you're protected from the elements too. The upper deck overhangs a little bit, so if you're sitting out in front, like your seats in front of us that are part of the suite, hot sunny day you'd have some shade, and rainy day you'd be covered.
1-0 to Valbuena is a strike called.
Well, big hill to climb here for the Cubs, so the mindset for the hitters has to be just, you know, one at bat at a time. Battle. Get on base, and maybe somebody can pop one, and you're right back in the ball game. He's been stingy this year. For a power guy who's pretty aggressive, he's allowed just 4 home runs. League batting .243 against him.
He really came into his own last year. Career high 13 wins, 208 innings, 33 starts through a no-hitter in late September. It was at Pittsburgh and a career low 3.68 earned run average in 2012. Previous 2 years dealt with some shoulder issues. He was the Reds' #1 prospect 3 years in a row. 05, 06, and 07. Drafted 7th overall in 04. 3-1. Valbuena hits it well, but he was out in front, and that's foul.
Yeah, that one clearly foul, but there's the potential nightmare for the base umpires. Ball right down the line in this fog, trying to determine fair or foul.
That hit by Feldman is Cubs' first hit of the game. They did not have a hit in the first 4 innings of any of those games over the weekend against the Pirates. So while the trend early on had been the Cubs outscoring their opponents early and struggling later, they've really scuffled here on this homestand, getting to the starting pitcher as Valbuena walks. So 2 on for Rizzo.
Well, that's the scenario I was talking about. Keep the line moving and hope somebody can pop one. Rizzo is due. He has not hit a home run in a good while.
Middle of May, the last time he went deep. The 18th off Robert Carson of the Mets. That's a strike, even though Rizzo raised his hands out of the way. Let's see where Pitch Tracks had it.
Split finger pitch.
Yeah. Wow, it had some weird movement on it.
It's a splitter. Tumbling, knuckling almost, split finger pitch. I don't think anybody was happy with that pitch. Rizzo didn't like the call. Really couldn't have liked the location. No way he wanted to throw that pitch there.
Just with the curveball for his strike that time.
Didn't want to throw that pitch where it ended up either. He's missed his spot twice. There's the grip. You see the split finger grip. Very little rotation. Apparently caught the inside corner.
Ground to Phillips. Been the man of the hour for the Reds. Phillips has knocked in all 5 of their runs. And Homer Bailey shutting out the Cubs through 3. The new Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell. Liv Moss. The Menards grounds crew able to find the infield through the haze and the fog tonight.
This season, the Cubs are giving away a set of 82 limited edition Cubs Topps baseball cards in 4 installments over the course of 4 games. The second set of 20 cards brought to you by 5 Gum. will be given out on Friday, July 5th against the Pirates to the first 10,000 fans. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
San Francisco's got nothing on us. 5-0. The Reds had the lead. They'll go back to work offensively. Scott Feldman gave up the grand slam to Brandon Phillips in the third. The wind is non-existent at the moment.
Tough night for Feldman after giving up that grand slam, down 5 now as he works in the fourth inning. And this is where you really challenge mentally, because you feel like to a certain extent you're already beat. Not that your team can't come back and win, but just on a personal level. You came out, you gave up 5 runs in 3 innings, but you can salvage something here if you can post a couple zeros, keep his team in the game. You never know. That's where you really earn your reputation in this game, to battle through tough times when things aren't going your way and you fall behind early and battle and hang in there.
Two strikes on Hanahan. They're having the same issue on the south side tonight. White Sox leading the Jays 4-2 in the third. Cutter is in. Over the mound. Castro tried to barehand. Kind of a do-or-die play. It'll be a base hit for Hanahan.
And we'll get a good look at this play developing here. He jams Hanahan, a little chopper right over the mound. Castro has to make a little adjustment on his route to try to get an angle on this ball. It's a real tough chance. Not sure if he gloves it, if he's got a shot at him or not. Sometimes you just got to trust the player to try to make an instinctive play, and I think he did the right thing. He just couldn't snag it.
Well, the Cubs down early here, but we need some good baseball news tonight, partner, and I've got some.
Okay, what do you got?
Javier Baez has homered 3 times tonight for Daytona, and now there are tweets indicating he has hit his 4th. Wow. Official box score has not yet shown the 4th home run, but we'll keep you posted. So Javi Baez have a night. 2-run homer, solo, and then a 3-run shot. 3 at bats, 6 RBIs.
How many for the year does he have?
Fort Myers 12, but maybe 13.
That's in that league. That's a lot of home runs in the Florida State League. Typically a good pitchers league, big ballparks. Just rare to find players that young with that kind of power.
Yeah, so it is 4 now. Second player, according to the Daytona Cubs, in the 94-year history of the Florida State League to do it. Ryan Harvey, former Daytona Cub back in 06, also hit 4 in a game. And I believe that home run would have been in the 7th.
Might have one more turn.
Maybe. They're leading. Maybe they can bat around in the 8th. Rizzo to Castro. Return throw in plenty of time. 3-6-3 for the double play.
Rizzo unloads in a hurry, quickly back to first base. Nice double play executed. 3-6-3.
Well, the Blackhawks are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals. After every game, get right to Comcast Sportsnet for Blackhawks Post-Game Live, presented by Hawk Ford. Pat Boyle, Steve Conroy take you live to the action. Hear from the players, break down the game. Blackhawks Post-Game Live after every Cup Final game, beginning Wednesday night only on Comcast Sportsnet. Be great to hear Eddie Olczyk on the Finals TV broadcast, along with Doc Emmerich. And I know Eddie O is always prepared, and I'm sure is boning up on both teams, even though he's seen both of them a lot. But he might be watching the Cubs tonight, because he usually does when he has an off night.
What a great matchup. Great cities, great hockey towns.
This is a compliment to the Bruins. There are going to be a lot of their players Blackhawk fans will hate after about 2 games. Big and tough and nasty. But they haven't played the Hawks yet this year. So Feldman gets out of the 4th with no damage. However, the Cubs trail 5-0. Stats and tweets with Cubs in-game live only at csnchicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class. I did hear from Eddie. He is watching, and he said this is reminiscent of some NHL fog games. You know, you start to get into the summer here in June. You got hot temperatures outside. I try to keep the arena cold. You mentioned Oilers Bruins at the old Garden, Sabres Flyers.
I was going to say Buffalo. I remember.
Yeah, the odd.
Yep.
This is about as clear as we've seen it since the first pitch.
We're still sending out the horn to warn wayward ships.
Breaking ball strike on Soriano. Cubs with only 1 hit. That was Feldman, who singled in the 3rd.
And 5 2/3 of no-hit baseball yesterday from Pirate left-hander Jeff Locke before Deanna Navarro broke it up. He did walk 7 in that game, however, and the Cubs have drawn a couple walks here off of Bailey this evening. There's a glimmer of hope right there when you look at those numbers. Ooh, when you look at that pitch, tells a different story. This splitter or changeup splitter really fooling Soriano. Break it down and super slow for you.
And he gets him.
Right back to it.
Some things you just can't explain. I mean, I think the best explanation is that this division is a lot better at the top than a lot of people thought. Top 3 teams among the elite right now: St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. Scherholtz sends a flare down the left field line. It's going to land fair. And it'll be a bloop double.
No, you're absolutely right. The National League Central, and you can make a case for that, for this division being the best in baseball so far this year. When you look at the numbers, the way they have performed against teams outside of the division, run differential, any number of different ways of breaking it down, the Central has been superior to perhaps all of them.
Morrow hits a ground ball to Phillips, who goes down to a knee. Lots of time as he gets up. Scherholtz at third, 2 outs. Lowe's never stop improving. Deoner Navarro bought himself another start with this hot stretch. I don't want to overstate it, but I think Dale earns a little currency in the clubhouse every once in a while for one of the bench players who's this hot, just to say, you know what, you deserve it. Back-to-back starts. And the Cubs have struggled to score runs.
And Dale's a guy that in his career was a bench guy for a lot of it. He understands how difficult it is to get any rhythm at the plate, and so you got a guy who's swinging it pretty well, seeing the ball well. You might as well ride that hot hand as long as you can.
Line and caught on the leap by Phillips. Steals one away from Castro. Just can't buy a break. Still 5-zip Reds. Queso Love to the Chicagoland area. Opt into Qdoba's mobile club by texting Q to 50500 to receive free chips and queso. This has been one of those proverbial starts where you say Feldman's been good except for that one pitch. That's kind of how he felt the last time he faced the Reds in Cincinnati, as he faces the top of their order: Chu, Cozart, and Votto.
That's a lineup that puts a lot of pressure on you because of the patience at the top of the order, the danger in the middle of the order. It's a deep lineup. A lot of guys throughout this batting order that can hurt you with the long ball. Including this guy. He's got 10 from the leadoff spot. .436 on base, .491 slugging percentage coming into play tonight.
Good effort.
Good job avoiding the face plant.
So delay on the south side tonight due to fog. I don't know if Paul Sullivan tweeted this or if somebody else did, but Sully, when he was covering the White Sox back in 1996, I remember this one. They had a fog delay in Milwaukee at County Stadium. Almost lasted 2 hours. The White Sox beat the Brewers 20-8.
Maybe that's the game they were hitting the fungos to the outfield.
That was a game, I think Tony Phillips got into a fight with a fan. Called strike 3.
He was a combustible guy.
According to Sully's story back in '96, an eyewitness said Phillips came into the stands in his street clothes, walked up to a fan who had been haranguing him the whole game, and punched him. Announced crowd was 8,733. That's a strike. 0-2 on Cozart. Matt Garza will go tomorrow. Left-hander Tony Cingrani in for Johnny Cueto. Former Red Travis Wood will face Mike Leake. Both guys with a sub-3 earned run average. And then on Thursday afternoon, good play by Valbuena. And he gets him. Latos and Samardzija.
Good matchups. Very good matchups. All 4 games of this series. Got hit around a little bit last time out. You know, he's anxious to get back out there.
Joey Votto out into left center, and it'll be DeJesus to end the inning. It's a 1-2-3 for Feldman. Still Reds 5 and the Cubs nothing.
Mike Leake and the boys from Cincinnati. Don't miss Cubs Reds Wednesday at 12:30 on Comcast Sports Net.
Homer Bailey working with a healthy lead as he faces Darwin Barney here in the Cubs' fifth. Darwin thought.
He saw the ball out there in the outfield,
and
but there was no stoppage of play called.
June 10th, and Homer Bailey could see his breath. Right field, Bruce charging over, and he will not have a play. We had a shot earlier, and if we do it again, I would not ask our wonderful director Dave Turner to necessarily show his seat location. We had a shot of a guy in a Bruins jersey or shirt. I saw a Bruins logo while Twitter has blown up. There's a Bruins fan at Wrigley Field. How is that possible? We'll do our best to protect his identity. Someone theorized he lost a bet. But you would think the bet would be the series coming up, that you can't lose the bet before the finals.
I'm guessing he's in for a little hockey. Decided to come to Wrigley Field to catch some baseball while he's in town.
Maybe he just got the wrong Bear logo. He wanted a Cubs jersey, and they gave him a Bruins one instead. The 0-2 is floated out into left center. Paul will slide, and he takes a big divot out of the turf, but he also caught the ball.
I'm sure he catches this ball an inning or so ago when that fog was so thick, might not have gotten the jump that he got.
Feldman the left as well, and Paul will not have to leave his feet this time. 2 quick outs. DeJesus will take his time and let his starting pitcher get back in the dugout before beginning this at bat. On the outside corner for a strike.
David taking his time between pitches as he normally does. That wouldn't be a bad strategy for a lot of these Cub hitters tonight to try to get Bailey out of his rhythm. You see Bailey, he's getting the ball right back on the rubber, ready to attack. He's locked in.
Well, just went right at him and got him with a high heat. So we get into the 6th now, still 5-0 Cincinnati. upstairs in the booth. And Nick Rouleau from the cast has joined us. Great to have you here, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
Pretty good view here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah. You see the cast down there too.
Where are they?
Is everybody
We're sitting
here?
right down in the center section right here.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many do you have
Good
here
seats.
tonight? How many?
There's like 30 of us
Oh,
here.
really?
Yeah, cast and crew, which is cool.
And how many will be singing?
Just 2 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 elders?
2 elders. Ben Platt and I. He plays Elder Cunningham, so we'll be singing in a little bit.
So this has just taken the country by storm.
Yeah.
And I guess the Chicago portion was already extended before it started, right?
Yeah, before we even got here. You know, I was lucky to be a part of the New York company and then was asked to come here and open it up in Chicago. And before we even got here, we were extended already, and now we're here through October 6th. So it's been a nice run.
That is great.
Yeah.
I got to get down there to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Great
Yeah,
things.
definitely.
That's on my to-do list.
Scott Feldman against Brandon Phillips. There is a Twitter handle, by the way, at Book of Mormon BWY. So who tweets from that handle?
You know what? I don't know who it is. It's a mystery tweeter.
And is this true? Trey Parker's directing here in Chicago?
Trey Parker directed the production, every production that we have across the country, and abroad now in London as well. So yeah, he was here. He and Matt Stone both of South Park were here for our opening and helped us rehearse.
So, show closes in October.
Yes.
Then what do? Do you go do Book of Mormon somewhere else?
We
I mean,
do
you can
not
do this
know.
for-
I mean, I'm not done with the show yet, so wherever they send me, I'm willing to go. So we'll see where that is, but it's not official. We don't know yet. So
Brandon Phillips rolls one to Castro, and they get him. So for those who are unfamiliar with Book of Mormon, give them a quick synopsis of what it's all about.
I'll try not to give away too much, but it's basically about 2 19-year-old Mormon missionaries who are sent off on their mission. Elder Price, who I play, who is kind of the straight-laced, very well-behaved Mormon, and then Elder Cunningham, played by Ben Platt, who is a little bit, he's a little bit quirky and a little bit off the charts there. We pray to be sent to Orlando, Florida, but instead we get sent to Uganda in Africa, and kind of chaos ensues from then on out.
Called strike on Jay Bruce. So Book of Mormon. It's run, Broadway, of course, Chicago, London, national tour. Already broken ticket sales records. It's grossed over $250 million alone here in the United States. Are you excited about singing the stretch?
We're super
Let's talk
excited.
baseball.
Yeah. No, it's like reserved for celebrities, so we feel kind of honored to be invited to
Yeah,
sing here
normally
today.
we would be up there with you, but you're going to have all the space you need. So
Oh,
if you
great.
just want to hang out for the
Yeah,
8th
feel
and the
free
9th,
to any choreography you want to break
good.
out.
It'll be
feel
fully
free. Yeah.
choreographed.
you
of
are
course.
welcome to do so. There's Feldman's 1-2 to Jay Bruce. And he bounces it foul.
The baseball players talk about the everyday nature of baseball and that it's a grind. It's kind of the same way for you guys, right?
It's true. I mean, we're doing 8 shows a week here in Chicago, which is a lot. And today, Monday's our only day off of the week, so we're happy to be spending it here with you guys.
Where are you from, Nick?
I'm originally from San Francisco.
Oh, here we are. Looks like we're at AT&T
It
Park.
feels like it with
Feels
the
like
fog
home.
and everything. It feels like home.
Bruce hits it in the air to left. Soriano had trouble locating it. Now camps under it, makes the catch. Nick Rouleau from Book of Mormon. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great
Thanks for
time
having me,
tonight
guys.
singing the
Yeah,
stretch.
thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Enjoy
Great
the
to
rest
meet
of
you.
your run
Good
here in
luck.
Chicago.
Thanks.
2 down here in the 6th. It'll be Xavier Paul. Well, Feldman doing what you kind of indicated, partner. I mean, there's nothing, once that ball landed in the bleachers, he could do about the grand slam by Phillips. Just try to keep the Reds where they are and hope this Cubs offense can put up a crooked number.
Yeah, did a real nice job turning the page, hanging in there. Pitching all those years in Texas, you get practice in games like that too. And that ballpark, the way the ball jumps, and pitching in that division, a lot of high-scoring games. So you have to be tough-minded.
I think that is certainly a characteristic of, you know, the upper level, you know, 1 and 2 starters in rotations around baseball. You're going to have a few games in which you give up runs. But if you give up 5, make sure you go 6 innings, not 2. Find a way to keep your team within shouting distance, and it doesn't kill your ERA as well.
Saves the bullpen.
Three and one.
Saves the bullpen, and you're right. Sometimes it's a matter of self-preservation too, because there are certain nights where a manager says, you know, he might not say this verbally to you as a starting pitcher, but hey, I can't afford to yank you after 2 or 3 innings. I got to save my pen. I got to have fresh arms out there in case we get back in this game or for tomorrow night or the next night. And a lot depends on recent bullpen usage. Sometimes you're left out there to suck up, 11 earned runs.
And as he gets to 95 pitches, Zach Putnam begin to loosen in the bullpen. Paul, something in his eye, bad contact. And the pitch. Curveball is grounded to Barney to end the inning. Back-to-back 1-2-3s for Feldman. It's the Reds 5, the Cubs nothing.
Cam and Starlin Castro thought he had a knock. Brandon Phillips said, nope, not tonight, my friend. Up he goes. And another frustrating AB for Starlin Castro.
Hey, the dessert cart is here, and I got my eye on the Reese's peanut butter cookie.
Ooh, what's the cake there? The carrot cake.
Carrot cake looks really good. Yeah.
Oh, how about the brownie bar, and you throw a little scoop of vanilla on there?
A little slip there by Bailey. Well, I ordered the peanut butter cookie. I'm wavering, though. What are you going to get?
I think I'm going to go for that brownie.
Yeah, in honor of your former partner. I like it. Oh, here's the cookie. All right. Thank you. Go ahead and order, partner. I got us covered here for a second. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fair ball through the bullpen. And Valbuena has a leadoff double. So the Cubs have the leadoff man on for the first time tonight. So what'd you order?
I went with the brownie with the little vanilla ice cream.
Nice. There's really no wrong answer when the dessert cart comes by. I guess no thanks might be the only wrong answer. Found it. About 5 sweets to our left up along third. Swing and a miss. Nasty splitter.
Want a little ice cream with your cookie?
No, go ahead.
I'd be happy to share.
I appreciate it. Well, you dive in.
Scorebook's going to be a mess.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing ice cream, but I didn't want it all to melt. Good knockdown by Hannigan. That keeps Valbuena at second.
Oh, man.
Pretty good.
That brownie is really good.
Now, is that caramel and walnuts on top?
Mm-hmm. It's really good. Good shot of that brownie. Coming in your one of the suites, make sure you order that bad boy there. The brownie bar.
Line to right, but it's going to hold up for Jay Bruce. Valbuena kind of got deked a little bit. He just kind of got caught no man's land. I'm not quite sure why he didn't keep on running, but Cozart was in the area.
Rizzo's been seeing a lot of inside fastballs lately. Hit this ball with authority. Valbuena not sure off the bat. He didn't get a good read as to whether that ball was going to get down or not. By the time he got back and tagged, it felt like it was probably a beat late. You got to be careful when you run on Jay Bruce. He's got a cannon.
And for our AT&T tweet, it's all about the fog tonight. The darkest hour, 1:38, said, don't care about the fog, just want the Cubs to win.
Might be about the food tonight.
Soriano can get a hold of one. He's trying to put one in play. Yeah, he struck out twice.
He's been bewildered tonight so far by Homer Bailey. It's primarily been that split finger pitch, and Alfonso just hasn't seen it well out of his hand. And that's the thing, you know, we talk a lot about off-speed pitchers, and you just stay back, go the other way. Well, a guy like Bailey really can't afford to do that because he throws so hard. If you're thinking stay back, stay back, stay back, and then you try to hit 95, you got no chance.
Rough night for the Cubs cleanup man. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts. Here comes Scherholtz with 2 outs. Might have gotten a piece of both the catcher and the umpire.
Hannigan got one off the toe earlier.
Oh, it was
Right
all
off the grill.
Hannigan. Okay. A topper. Bailey can't get it. Barehanded by Phillips. He throws it away. Cubs get a run as Valbuena scores. Phillips usually has a trick or two up his sleeve on a play like that. We saw him try to make a backhand throw around the back in Cincinnati earlier this season, but this one he just couldn't get it to Votto.
Yeah, and he went behind his back in Cincinnati because he didn't have an angle, and that was the case here too. I think he was just fearful of trying the circus play with a man on second base and trying to make the play the conventional way cost him. Do or die play. Be a single and an error on Phillips, allowing Valbuena to come around and score.
So no RBI for Scherholtz, who's 2 for 3. We've been pretty clear the last 2 innings or so, but now it looks like the fog's starting to head back over the field. One and one. Still delayed on the south side. The final in Daytona, the D Cubs beat Fort Myers 9-6. Javier Baez 4 for 4, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. Two and two.
So sure about that one. Normally you don't see that ball called a strike. To be honest with Dan, that was up. We've been very active back there tonight.
Scherholtz goes on the 3-2, called strike 3, and that'll end the inning. Cubs do get a run, however, and it's now 5-1 as we head off to the 7th. For all MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia, from game-used balls, bases, and jerseys to autographed bats and photos, Cubs Authentics has the most exclusive Cubs memorabilia. Visit the Wrigley Field Concourse, the Cubs store across from Wrigley Field, or Cubs.com/authentics for all your Cubs memorabilia needs. We're in the Nuveen Investment Suites behind home plate. When the renovations occur, this is what the suite will look like. It's looking out onto Wrigley Field. And then looking back inside. Again, a great spot to watch Cubs baseball.
Have a meeting, watch a ball game.
Yep. Zach Putnam is on in relief of Scott Feldman, and a strike on Jack Hanahan.
3 times only for Putnam so far this year at the big league level. High ERA, no record. Very good last time out Saturday. 3 up, 3 down. Struck out the side.
We've got a Big Ten matchup here. Putnam from the University of Michigan. Hanahan, University of Minnesota.
Which Big Ten team did you say was going to the College World Series?
Indiana.
Indiana.
First Big Ten team since Michigan in 1984. And Barry Larkin was a Wolverine. Barney to Rizzo for the out. Hannigan broke his bat on that foul. Got a final from Miami. The Brewers beat the Marlins 6-1. Gallardo over Nolasco. Ricky Weeks hit his 5th home run.
Now, Reds trying to keep pace with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals, I believe, the next 2 series are Mets and Marlins. The Marlins just can't score.
delayed in Baltimore. The Orioles lead the Angels 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th. Trout has hit his 11th. Hamilton with his 9th. Jones has hit his 13th for the Orioles. Boston and Tampa Bay 6-6 in the bottom of the 8th. On a hop, it's backhanded by Rizzo, and he'll easily beat Hannigan to first.
Get your tickets for the 4th of July Millionaire Raffle on sale now at all Illinois lottery retailers. Good luck.
The Reeling Indians, trying to avoid their 8th straight loss, are tied at 3 at Texas. Jeff Baker has gone deep again. He has 9 home runs already. Bailey rounds out to Barney. Time for the stretch. Let's go upstairs.
Tonight's guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, the cast of Book of Mormon.
All right, Cubs fans, let me hear ya! A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Let's get some runs.
Get the product the players use and visit getgrinds.com today. Castro, Barney, and a pinch hitter against Homer Bailey.
Dip.
Breaking ball strike. Still delayed on the south side. I wonder if they're getting rained on down there. Is it just fog? It's been sitting there for, gosh, the last hour at least. We've been okay here for the past 45 minutes or so. Okay, so they had R. They found an F. Now that doesn't mean it's a final. I think it means fog.
Way to be creative out there on the scoreboard.
Didn't mean to.
And normally in the course of a game, you can think back to certain pitches, certain situations, and say, boy, they missed an opportunity. Bailey made mistakes, hung a breaking ball, got away with it, left a couple fastballs out over the heart of the plate. That really hasn't been the case tonight. When you think back on this game, the way he has pitched, there's been very few mistakes made at all by Homer Bailey tonight.
In on the hands that time, and Castro muscles it foul.
And his stuff is so good that even when he does miss his spot, it's still either a 94-mile-an-hour fastball or a pretty sharp breaking ball. Maybe not exactly where he wanted to throw it, but still has a lot going on, and that's why he's turning into one of the better starters in the league. Just 3-4 so far this year, but would not be surprised to see him end up with 15, 16 wins, a 13-game winner last year.
Kansas City with a late lead over Detroit 3-2 as they go to the bottom of the 8th in Kansas City. Royals, after a lot of struggles, have now won 5 in a row. Houston and Seattle just underway. No score. Back in the National League. Braves are in San Diego. Scoreless in the bottom of the first. Diamondbacks and Dodgers also in the first. Chopper to the second baseman Phillips for the out.
Chicago Cubs baseball summer camps offer children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate major league experience for 7 one-week sessions in various Chicago area locations. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive access, and unforgettable moments. Visit Cubs.com/camps to sign your future Cub up today.
Bailey nearing 100 pitches, but as JD mentioned, has really been cruising along tonight. We have not seen any stirring in the Reds bullpen as of yet.
Now this is exactly what Dusty Baker was hoping for.
Votto to Bailey to get him.
Votto got a little too much air under that toss. Slowed the play down a little bit. Barney made it closer than it likely would have been. Votto's been busy in a number of plays tonight, and as he makes this barehanded toss, Bailey trying to lead him to the bag. He tosses it a little high. Bailey has to make a little adjustment. No big problem. Right at 100 pitches, but as we mentioned earlier, the Reds bullpen worked fairly hard the last couple of days. So with this outing by Bailey tonight, really limiting the number of outs that pen's going to have to get.
Julio Bourbon batting for Putnam. Hit the mitt, but it was out of the strike zone. Blake Parker will be next.
Scott Feldman came into the start with an ERA here at Wrigley Field this year below 2. This year and his career, he'd never started here before joining the Cubs. Home ERA will take a little bit of a hit tonight, but still pretty sturdy the way he bounced back after that 4-run third after the grand slam by Phillips. Allowed just a infield single, little chopper to Hanahan to start the fourth, and that was it.
Foul tip for strike 3. Bailey through 7 has allowed 4 hits and only 1 run and leads by 4.
Fan, or you're just jumping on board, CSN will get you ready for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final with Blackhawks Fever, the ultimate Stanley Cup preview. Tune in tomorrow night at 11 only on Comcast Sports Net.
All right, so Kane is the F. Is that, man, Boland or Bickle? Okay, that was my second guess. Taves, Crawford, or Seabrook. All right. I was going to go with Bickle, but then I saw the gap there, and I thought maybe it was Dave Boland. So here's Blake Parker, third Cub hurler tonight. Good job, Zach Putnam. 1, 2, 3 in the 7th.
2 good ones in a row for Putnam, and now Parker works for the 4th time. Just 2 2/3 innings so far. Real good numbers down at AAA Iowa.
Chu with a ground ball to Barney, who has a 360 and gets him.
He's been busy tonight. A lot of chances for Darwin Barney.
Enrollment bonus. How about up to a $400 airline ticket with a U.S. Bank Flex Perks Travel Rewards Visa Signature Card. Apply today at any U.S. Bank branch. In that Dodger game tonight, Yasiel Puig is hitting cleanup, and why not?
Player of the week. How about that for your first week in the big leagues?
Wade Miley on the mound for the Diamondbacks. Clayton Kershaw. For the Dodgers, Puig singled in his first at bat and scored on a Jerry Hairston Jr. single. 1-0 in the first.
Dodgers still last in the NL West. 7.5 games behind the Diamondbacks.
Line into left, Zach Cozart with his second hit of the night.
First base runner for the Reds since the infield hit by Hanahan in the 4th. Dodgers still a fighting chance, though. Still plenty of time left in a tightly bunched NL West. You don't get the sense that any of those clubs really are going to go off on such a great tear where they're going to put too much distance between them and the Dodgers where they couldn't make a run.
Well, the Dodgers are kind of putting themselves into a corner in which they're going to have to go, 21-6 in July or something like that to get back into it if they don't really get hot here soon. Doable, but not easy.
Yeah, I think that their chance lies in the fact that the rest of the division, at least for me, I don't see any super teams out there. Arizona currently in first place. The Giants, they've got some issues. Their pitching is underperformed for sure. Rockies are 4 games above 500, but I'm not a real believer there. So I think those teams above them are vulnerable if they get their house in order.
They have resumed on the south side. A little over an hour for a fog delay. White Sox leading the Blue Jays 4-2. Rare to have both teams in town at the same time, playing games at the same time, but it's been the case here since last Friday.
It's a scout's dream, especially if the Cubs are playing in the afternoon and the Sox are playing at night.
We're going to make up that rainout at U.S. Cellular Field on July 8th. But how cool would it have been? There's a 3-1. Ball 4. How neat would it have been if the White Sox had a day game against the Mariners, the Cubs had a day game against the Pirates, and then they had the makeup game that night.
Split doubleheaders for both teams against different opponents. I like it.
Something to think about down the road. Chris Bosio out to the mound. Time now for our Xfinity high-speed action. Without a doubt, the big blow in this game in the fog. Brandon Phillips with a grand slam off Scott Feldman to make it 5-0. That was back in the 3rd inning.
Started on a Homer Bailey single to lead off the 3rd. Cozart and Votto also singled, and then Phillips delivered that grand slam. Got beat in extra innings last night in 10. The Cardinals dropped a 7 spot on him in the 10th inning, including a grand slam by Matt Holliday off of a kid for the Reds making his major league debut. First batter he faced, Curtis Parch, came in to face Holliday, and Holliday hit one in the seats on him. A memorable debut for sure. That's your welcome to the big leagues moment right there. Here you go, kid. We're gonna provide a nice soft landing for you. 10th inning against the Cardinals with the bases juiced and Matt Holliday up. We're gonna ease you into things.
Phillips swings and misses. You know, I joke about a day-night doubleheader with different opponents, but we are getting to the point with the schedule the way it is with interleague play and a lot of teams playing each other only one time that may be a real possibility down the road. And I think the novelty of it's cool, but you are getting to the point, JD, where you'd almost rather play a split doubleheader and do something unique like that than take an off day later in the year to make up one.
Yeah, those off days are very valuable late in the season.
Good read there by Cozart. It's a wild pitch on Parker. 2-2 on Phillips. I think that 26th roster spot for any doubleheader is a great change in the rules. Teams add a pitcher. Yeah, I think a lot of teams would rather play 2 on one day and keep that off day if they could. Up and in near the hands of Phillips. 3-2.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it just depends on what kind of shape your pitching staff was in. You could get real creative and play 2 7-inning games like they do in the minor leagues.
Time for the 5th inning stretch. Votto runs on the 3-2. Phillips hits a ground ball to second. And Barney's only plays first, so Phillips now has 6 RBIs. 52 on the year.
Brandon Phillips quoted in a recent story saying, "I just want to drive in 100 runs. That's what I get paid to do. I'm not worried about striking out. I just want to drive in runs."
Well, he's well on his way. 52, and we sit here on June 10th. Need 54 for the Reds. 64 rather.
And RBIs it's a team sport. The fact that he's driving in all these runs is because of the opportunities that have been provided to him. He and Bruce, a ton of at bats. Bruce actually had more at bats with runners in scoring position than anybody. And with runners on base, they rank 1st and 3rd in the league.
Phillips has tied his career high with 6 RBIs. It's the 4th time in his career he's knocked in 6. I don't know why, but he hits a wall at 6.
Can't get that 7th. He's no Javier Baez.
Javi Baez, 4 home runs tonight in the Cubs' High A affiliate, Daytona.
Paul Goldschmidt is leading the National League in RBIs. He's got 58 coming into play tonight. 7 better than Tulowitzki.
Rollover grounder to Rizzo. Pitchers have had to cover first a lot tonight, and all have done it without incident. Reds add a run. Guess who knocked it in? Brandon Phillips. 6-1. The Jesus will dig in. 0 for 3 on the night.
Pitch 105 for Homer Bailey, showing no signs of letting up. His season high is 125 pitches in one game.
Oh, 0-2. Alfredo Simon.
Eight strikeouts for Bailey tonight. He's had one, at least one in every inning. Splitter's been a really good pitch for him against the left-handed hitters.
Another 0-2 offering. Hook foul. See, Ike Davis was sent to AAA Las Vegas. Will be in New York this weekend. Hitting 161 with 66 strikeouts. Blocked by Cozart. One away. Time now for our Avis slow-mo replay.
His splitter against left-handed hitters, but he's used it effectively against some of the righties too, in particular Soriano. He's not been a one-trick pony tonight. The curveball's been very sharp. Fastball 93 to 95 miles an hour. Looking to go 7-2 against the Cubs, 4-1 here at Wrigley.
Fastball at 92. It's 1-1. Wow. A rough night for Hannigan. That ball actually deflected all the way over the backstop, and not only into the front section, but in the back 200 section.
Hannigan's body will be covered in ice after this game, including his head.
Sharply hit, but Brandon Phillips on the spot. Joey Votto thought it was the third out.
It just feels like it. That ball hit sharply. There's been a few tonight that the Cubs have squared up, but most of the time they've been right at somebody.
Royals held on and beat the Tigers 3-2. They're in the 10th in St. Pete. 6-6 Red Sox and Rays. The Red Sox scored 6 runs at the top of the first. Rays would peck away and eventually tie it up in the 8th.
Just 4 games separating the top 4 teams in the American League East. And Toronto being the outlier, they're 11 games out. It's a team that had such high expectations at the start of the season.
Angels, Dodgers, Blue Jays. I have to say those are 3 pretty big disappointments at this point.
One guy that's thrilled that that game is resumed over on the south side, Jose Bautista. 2 for 2, 2 home runs, 5 driven in so far.
I think he hit a 3-run homer here a few minutes ago. Rizzo hustling, but he's out. And Bailey through 8 with a 6-1 lead. miss Sportsnet Central, presented by GMC. We'll have a Stanley Cup final preview. Mark Burley returns to the South Side. All that and more on Sportsnet Central tonight after postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Don't believe Burley is scheduled to pitch in that series. Blake Parker gave up a run in the 8th, back out for the 9th against Xavier Paul. Called strike.
Sense that this game, after the Phillips grand slam, the way Homer Bailey was pitching, that the rest of it's basically been a formality.
Rondon is up. So Baseball Reference, on this date, they've got all kinds of interesting events that happen on this date, June 10th. They go way back into the late 1800s.
Did you unearth a nugget?
Well, yeah, it's not terribly interesting until you try to do the math. And obviously the rules were a little different back then. But it says 1882, the Eclipse, I don't even know who that is, score 6 runs in the bottom of the 12th to defeat the Athletics 10-5. So do I assume at that time that they completed the bottom of the inning even if the home team had a lead in extra innings? Because as far as I know, when you go to extra innings and the home team wins, the most you can win by is 4.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was wacky back in the day. I remember reading one of those where there was a play where so-and-so scored the winning run from third base when so-and-so singled. He had stopped at third on a home run because he wanted to rattle the pitcher. So he would have had a home run to score the winning run, but he stopped at third to rattle the pitcher for the next batter.
Swinging bunt. It's going to be a hit for Paul. He could do that every time. He'd hit 1,000.
You go way back in the history of the game. Home plate to the pitcher's mound was 45 feet. The pitcher didn't really pitch off of rubber. There was just a plate there that he had to stand behind. Hitters could ask for the pitch in a certain zone. They could ask for high or low. The pitcher basically, in the early days of baseball, his primary purpose was just to introduce the ball into play, kind of like kids playing sandlot ball.
Fly ball well hit off the bat of Jack Hanahan. It's going to be caught on the track by Soriano. Let's get a look at the numbers tonight for Javier Baez. 4 at-bats, 4 homers, 7 RBIs in a 9-6 win over Fort Myers. Does that mean he's going to be a big league start? Not necessarily. We mentioned Ryan Harvey, who at one time was a Cubs prospect, also hit 4 in a game. But it sure is fun to think about, isn't it? Having him maybe do that here at some point soon down the road.
He's such a gifted hitter. He's got tremendous bat speed, big time power. Needs to tighten up some parts of his game. Plate discipline still an issue. Doesn't walk much, strikes out a bunch, and defensively he has struggled.
1886. Bob Barr loses his job with the government because he missed work to pitch for Washington. Goes on the road finally and beats the Athletics 3-2.
He got a pink slip when he got back home.
They didn't play under the lights in 1886, so he really didn't have much of a choice if he wanted to play baseball professionally. Deep center. Again, pretty thick air right now as Hannigan flies out to DeJesus.
Games prior to tonight, Javier Baez had hit .354 with a .429 on base and a .608 slugging.
Into tonight.
17 doubles, 4 triples on the season to go along with 13 home runs. Good for third best in the Florida State League in the home run department.
So Donald Lutz will hit for Bailey.
Ooh, dandy.
Homer Bailey went 8 innings, gave up 1 unearned run.
Bottom drop out of this one. Big fella looking for a fastball. And he was a big man. Rookie Donald Lutz.
Parker was a 16th round pick back in 06 out of the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, which is his hometown. 2 long DL stints last year due to right elbow issues. Parker ready for a 1-2. Another fly ball. This one slicing back to the track. It's caught by Soriano. All the outs in this inning were fly ball outs. Bottom 9. It's 6-1 Reds.
So come on by. Yeah.
Throw it in your bag there or what?
Maybe half a brownie.
Yeah, here in the Nuveen Investment Suites, and we're having a good time tonight. Unfortunately, the game hasn't gone the way we had hoped, but this is a great spot to watch a game, and hopefully you get a chance to come on out and enjoy a ball game here in the Nuveen Investment Suites.
Yeah, very, very comfortable. Great vantage point. A lot better once the fog lifted. You could actually see the players.
Yeah, that helped. Lutz stays in. Alfredo Simon is on the pitch.
Simon, big hard throwing right-hander. Started with the Giants in the minor leagues. Big league time with the Orioles. This is his second year with the Reds. 3-2 last year.
Well, new pitcher for Soriano. You see what he did against Homer Bailey. This one will get out of play, first base side. Cingrani and Garza tomorrow night. Tony Cingrani, born in Evergreen Park, Illinois. High school in New Lenox, 40 miles southwest of the city. Grew up rooting for the White Sox. And it'll be Garza for the Cubs. Matt's last start was a no decision, 6 1/3 at the Angels last Wednesday. Gave up 4 runs. Cubs came back and won that game late. Phillips with a diving stop. Can't get a handle on it and spikes it. Soriano with an infield hit. A little salvage tonight after a rough start. You see Phillips had a long way to go.
Ball did not have a lot of pace on it. It was off the end of the bat. That bought Phillips a little time. If he comes up with it cleanly, he might have gotten Soriano. Watch these 2 second basemen play. There are no better in the National League than Phillips and Barney.
Soriano will take second without a throw. Slicing liner. Lutz leaps and makes a great catch. Throw back to second is late. A whale of a play by Donald Lutz in deep left.
Here showing a pretty good pop the other way, and the big fella airborne to haul it in. And maybe you're doing an Olympic figure skating call. Lutz leaps. Triple Lutz.
So a loud first out now. Navarro 0 for 3. Good breaking ball for a strike.
It's one of those games where fans will go home after the game and they'll talk on the way home, or maybe chat with somebody at work tomorrow. You know, they went to the Cub game last night. Well, they were flat. They just looked lifeless. Well, that's what good pitching does. Makes you look flat. Not for lack of effort or intensity. Good pitching just shuts you down. It's hard to be dazzling when you're making right turns on the first baseline or dragging your bat back to the dugout.